Hello, my name is Eric Packett and I'm a philosophy professor here at the University of Maryland at College Park. And I would like to invite you all to take my course, Making Better Group Decisions, Voting Theory, Judgment Aggregation, and Fair Division. This is going to be a really interesting course in which we look at the problems that arise when a group of people come together to make a group decision. The course is going to be divided into 3 parts, corresponding to the different types of group decision problems you might face. The first part is going to look at problems of voting. And these are problems in which you have a set of candidates or a group of objects, and everybody has different opinions, different preferences about these objects, and you need to come together and make a group decision, select one of those objects. So for example, suppose that you're going out to dinner with a group of friends, and you need to decide which restaurant to go to. If everybody agrees on one particular restaurant, then the decision's easy. You simply go to that restaurant. But how do you make the decision if people have different opinions, different preferences over the different restaurants? Some people like the French restaurant the best, some like the Italian restaurant the best, and others think the Indian restaurant is the best. How do you make a decision in that case? Of course, you can't come to a decision that will make everyone happy since everybody has differing opinions. But perhaps there is a choice you can make that will make the people as happy as possible. The second type of problem we're going to face we're going to think about is the problem of judgment aggregation. And this is similar to voting problems, except with one important difference. With problems of judgment aggregation, there's typically a fact of the matter, some fact that we want to uncover as a group. So the typical example there is you have a jury and you need to decide the guilt or innocence of a particular defendant. So everybody forms an opinion and we need to somehow combine or aggregate those opinions to form the overall group judgment. And in these settings, we're not always interested in being fair and fairly representing everybody's opinions. What we're really interested in is whether or not the group decision is correct, whether or not it latches on to the truth. And finally, we're going to look at problems of fair division. And these are problems in which you have some set of objects and you need to fairly divide these objects among everybody in the group. So for example, imagine that you're at a child's birthday party and there's a cake. And we want to fairly divide this cake up among all the hungry children at the party. Now, if the cake is completely uniform, for example, all vanilla cake with vanilla icing, then it's easy. You just ensure that everybody gets the exact same size piece. But what do you do if some of the cake has chocolate icing and other has vanilla icing and part of it has strawberry icing and the children each have different preferences? So some really like chocolate, some really like vanilla. How do you divide the cake up fairly in that case? And what do you do? This will be familiar to anybody who's recently been to a child's birthday party. What do you do when there's that one toy that's on the cake that all the children really, really want? How do you divide the cake up fairly in those cases? And what does it even mean to say that the division, the way you distributed the cake is in fact fair? Surely all the children should feel that they receive their fair portion. So if there's 5 children, each child should feel as if they got 1/5 of the cake. But perhaps we would want to impose another condition, envy-freeness, so that no child is envious of another child's piece. So as you can see, these are all very practical problems, and we're going to think about the different methods and puzzles that arise when a group of people come together to make a decision. Now, I just want to conclude by mentioning a few things about the mathematical component of this course. The way I'm going to think about these problems is through the lens of mathematics. So I'll be looking at these problems from a slightly different perspective than what a lot of you are used to. And certainly for those of you who like logical puzzles and simple mathematical puzzles, this course will be right up your alley. But I also want to encourage those of you who don't have a strong background in mathematics, or perhaps don't even consider themselves that strong in mathematics. I would like to encourage you to take this course as well, because I'm not going to have any prerequisites. You don't need any particular background in mathematics. So you will be exposed to basic mathematical thinking while focusing on very concrete and practical problems. So I really look forward to creating these lectures, and I look forward to seeing you all in the discussion boards.